My wife announced, "Delete every photo of your mom." I smiled. I'm a 34-year-old guy, and this all started on a random Tuesday afternoon at exactly 3:14 p.m. I remember the time because I just come home from work and set my phone down on the kitchen counter to charge. My wife Laura was sitting at the table, scrolling through Instagram, sipping one of those canned sparkling waters she liked to buy by the case. The late September sun was coming through the blinds, stripes of light on the floor, and I was thinking about what to cook for dinner. Then she looked up at me with this strange expression, was flat, not angry, not sad, just cold. "Delete every photo of your mom," she said. I froze. "What did you just say?" "You heard me," she replied, crossing her arms. "Every picture of your mom on your phone, on your computer, in albums gone." It was such a bizarre demand that for a second I laughed, thinking she was joking, but she didn't laugh. She just stared at me, eyes narrowed. Inside my head, alarm bells started ringing. My mom, Diane, had passed away 2 years earlier. Losing her had been the hardest thing I'd ever gone through. She wasn't just my mom, she'd been my anchor, the one person I could always count on. Had maybe a few hundred photos, most of them digital, that I backed up carefully. They weren't just pictures, they were memories. So I said, "Laura, are you out of your mind? Why would I delete photos of my mom?" Her face twisted. "Because you're obsessed with her. Every time I walk into the room, you're looking at some picture of her. You keep talking about her like she's still here. I'm your wife, you should be focused on me, not on some dead woman." I felt a wave of nausea. Some dead woman? That's my mother. She shrugged. "Exactly. She's gone. You need to move on." I didn't yell, I didn't throw anything. I just looked at her and felt this icy calm settle in. "No," I said. Her jaw dropped, like she wasn't used to me telling her no. "Excuse me." "No," I repeated. "I will never delete those pictures." That was the hook, the moment I knew something was deeply wrong in my marriage. And I'll admit, at first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she was jealous of the grief. Maybe she felt I hadn't given her enough attention. But the more I thought about it, the more it felt sinister. Who tells someone to erase their own mother? The days after that demand were like walking on broken glass. She kept bringing it up at random times. We'd be brushing our teeth, and she'd say, "So, did you delete them yet?" Or we'd be at Target buying paper towels and she'd whisper, "You'd better not still have those pictures." One night around midnight I woke up and found her sitting on the edge of the bed, with my phone in her hand. I snatched it back and said, "What the hell are you doing?" She said, "Just making sure you're not hiding them from me." That was when I started keeping evidence. I opened up my notes app and began writing down every date, time, and word she said. I took screenshots of our text conversations. I even set up my iPad to record audio when I left it charging on the kitchen counter. I felt crazy doing it, but something told me I'd need proof. At first I thought maybe she was just controlling. But then I noticed a pattern every time she got especially hostile about my mom. It was after she'd spent hours texting her sister Megan. I pulled our phone bill and saw hundreds of messages between them. That wasn't strange by itself. They were close, but the timing matched. And then one evening I overheard a snippet when she was on speaker. Megan said, "Just push him, hell, cave. Eventually. Then we'll be free of all that." Free of all that? What the hell did that mean? I decided to test it at dinner. I casually mentioned I was looking at Mom's recipe book today, thinking of making her lasagna this weekend. Laura's fork clattered onto the plate. "I told you to stop bringing her up." Within minutes she stormed into the bathroom with her phone. Sure enough, a text went out to Megan right away. I copied the number into my contacts and labeled it evidence. My best friend, Mark, a lawyer, told me, "Document everything, don't confront yet, just build your case." So I did. Over the next 2 months, the situation escalated. She started telling her friends that I was emotionally cheating with a dead woman. I only found out because one of them, Allison, pulled me aside and said, "Look, I don't know what's going on, but Laura keeps saying weird stuff about you and your mom." I showed Allison one of the recordings where Laura said, "If you don't delete those photos, I'll make your hell." Allison's eyes went wide. "She actually said that?" "Yup," I said, hitting stop on the recording. "And that's just one of many." Around Thanksgiving, the twist came. I got a message on Facebook from a guy named Ryan. He wrote, "Hey, I think we need to talk. I've been seeing your wife." My stomach dropped, called him immediately. Look, I didn't know she was married. Ryan said she told me she was single, but when I saw your picture on her Instagram, I realized the truth. I thought you should know. I asked him to send proof within minutes. He forwarded screenshots of texts. Laura telling him she wanted to start fresh. Laura saying I was clingy with his mom's ghost. Laura arranging hotel meetups. I saved them all that night. I confronted her. So, who's Ryan? Her face went white. I don't know what you're talking about. I held up my phone with the screenshots. Really, then why is he sending me these? She lunged for the phone, but I pulled it back. Don't even try. Her voice cracked. It's not what it looks like. Then explain. I said calmly. Silence. Finally, she muttered. Fine. Yes. I was seeing him, but only because you won't let go of your mom. That was her excuse. Cheating because I had photos of my dead mother. At that moment, I realized it wasn't just about control. She hated my mom. She hated that Diane had raised me to be strong, independent, unwilling to bow to manipulation. Laura wanted me to erase my mom so she could rewrite me from scratch. I said, you need to pack your things and leave. She sneered. Think anyone's gonna believe you over me? I'll tell everyone you're a creep, obsessed with your mom. I'll take half your money. You'll be ruined. That's when I smiled. Good luck. I've got everything recorded. Her face crumbled. That night she moved into her sister Megan's house. I locked the door behind her. And then I sat at the kitchen table pulling up all the evidence files, making copies, sending them to a secure cloud account. But the story didn't end there, because once I thought I was free, I learned just how deep the conspiracy between Laura and Megan went. When Laura moved out that night, I thought maybe things would settle, but I underestimated how much influence Megan had over her. Megan wasn't just her sister. She was her closest confidant, the one whispering poison in her ear. The very next morning, at 9:07 a.m. sharp, I got an email, subject line legal notice. It was from a Gmail address. No firm header, just a bunch of threatening lines. Per my attorney, you are required to transfer half of all marital assets immediately. Failure to comply will result in court action. I laughed out loud. The attorney was clearly Megan. The wording was sloppy, misspellings everywhere, and no contact info. Forwarded straight to Mark, my lawyer friend. He called me 2 minutes later, chuckling. That's not a legal notice. That's a badly written scam email. Save it though. It shows intent at 11:42 a.m. Laura texted, you'll regret this. Megan knows how to bury people. I didn't reply. I just screenshotted it. Weak. I dug deeper. I pulled credit card statements, cross-checked hotel charges, Uber receipts. The affair with Ryan was just the surface. There were 3 other names: Ethan, Kyle, and Jason, men she'd been seeing on and off for months. I had the proof in black and white: charges at restaurants I never to hotel stays when I was out of town, even Venmo, payments with stupid emojis like Kai. I organized everything into folders, one for texts, one for audio, one for financial records. My computer desktop looked like a prosecutor's dream. Meanwhile, Laura and Megan started a smear campaign. Suddenly, Facebook. There were posts from Laura about how I was mentally unstable and refusing to let go of the past. Megan commented things like, we've all tried to help him, but he refuses therapy. I didn't fight back online. Instead, I stayed calm. Every post, every comment, I saved screenshots, dates, times, URLs, wanted a complete archive. 2 weeks later, I got served. Finally, a real legal notice. This time, Laura had filed for divorce, citing emotional cruelty. Her petition actually mentioned my fixation on a deceased parent. Mark and I sat in his office, reading through it. I asked, do you think a judge will take this seriously? He smirked. Not when we show them what we've got. We filed a countersuit, citing adultery, attempted fraud, and harassment. We attached the texts with Ryan, the audio recordings, the fake email from Megan. It wasn't just a divorce anymore. It was about dismantling the lies. Then came the twist. Mark hired a private investigator to look into Megan. Within 2 weeks, the PI came back with a bombshell. Megan had been the one pushing Laura into the affairs. She'd actually set her up with Ryan, through a dating app, pretending to be a friend, introducing them. Why? Because Megan and Laura were trying to position themselves to get my money. See, I had inherited a decent sum from my mom, about $180,000 in life insurance and savings. I'd been careful with it, putting most of it into a house and a joint account. Laura and Megan wanted it. Their plan, as pieced together from messages, The PI pulled for Laura to divorce me, smear me as unstable and then walk away with half the assets, while Megan helped manage the money. They underestimated me. The PI found group chats where Megan literally wrote, "Once he deletes all that mom crap, hell finally break down, then we can file and get everything." Was the smoking gun at the first divorce hearing. Laura showed up with Megan at her side. Megan was whispering in her ear like some cartoon villain. The judge asked Laura to present her case. She started crying on cue, saying he's obsessed with his dead mom. It's creepy. He refuses to move on. It's emotion torture. My lawyer calmly stood, played one of the recordings where Laura said, "Delete every photo of your mom, or it'll make your life hell." The courtroom went silent. Then he handed over the folder with texts between Laura and Ryan. The judge flipped through them, face unreadable. Finally, Mark said, "Honor, this isn't a grieving husband. This is a man who lost his mother and preserved her memory. His wife and sister-in-law conspired to use that grief as a weapon to steal his inheritance. We have proof." He handed over the group chat printouts. Megan turned pale. Laura's face crumpled. The judge said, "We'll be continuing this case, but I suggest petitioner's counsel review these materials thoroughly as it stands. I see grounds for misconduct on the petitioner's side." After the hearing in the parking lot, Megan hissed at me, "You think you've won? This isn't over." I smiled. Sounds like consequences from. At that point everything unraveled for them. Ryan gave a sworn statement confirming the affair and Megan's involvement. Allison, the friend, agreed to testify about Laura's threats. Even Laura's own cousin messaged me, saying, "Look, I always thought Megan was manipulative. I'll back you up if you need it." By March, the court issued its ruling. I kept the house, my mom's inheritance, and nearly all marital assets. Laura walked away with a few personal belongings, and her car. The judge specifically cited adultery and bad faith conduct as reasons. But karma wasn't done. A month later, I heard Megan lost her job. Her employer saw screenshots of her harassment. When they circulated locally, she'd been working at a nonprofit, and they didn't want that kind of reputation. Laura meanwhile tried to move in with Ryan, but he blocked her number. Same with Ethan, Kyle, and Jason. She ended up back at Megan's tiny apartment. As for me, I stayed calm through it all. I went to therapy, not because Laura said I needed it, but because I wanted to process the grief and betrayal on my own terms. My therapist told me, "You handled this with dignity. Most people can't imagine." Sometimes at night, I'll look through the photos of my mom on my computer, her smiling face, her hand on my shoulder, the way she looked at me like I could do no wrong. I whisper, "Don't worry, Mom. They didn't win," and I feel at peace. The best part, 6 months later, I met someone new. Her name's Rachel. She's kind, thoughtful, and when I told her about my mom, she said I'd love to see pictures of her. She sounds amazing. That's when I knew I'd finally found someone who understood. To Laura and Megan, if either of you ever read this, thank you for showing me exactly who you are, so I could walk away without regret. You wanted me to erase my mom, instead I erased you. Thanks for following this journey. Reddit, edit. Wow, didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for the awards and kind messages for those asking. Yes, Laura and Megan tried to appeal, but the judge threw it out. They had no leg to stand on. I'm doing great now, and no, I never deleted a single photo.